Greetings, Facebook family. David Flood here, coming to you with my first video. Well, last week, I guess if you count that, well, first video of this long series that I had asked all of you to give input on and things you'd like me to talk about. And I made a few notes because I'm forgetful. I have a little bit of ADHD, maybe a lot of ADHD at times about things, and I don't want to go off on too many tangents. So the topic today, the topics, or I guess you could combine these into one topic, are stress and anxiety. And let me be very clear, and I've said this in several videos before this, I don't know if any of you recall, but a lot, if not all of what I say is for me too. And I say that to kids, when I'm up speaking in front of, giving assemblies in schools, and I'll stand up in front of the kids and I'll say, a lot of what I say to you guys, I have to practice too. There's something about saying something out loud that I know all of these things work because I've used them before, but there's just something about out loud reminding yourself of something. So all of what I say to all of you is for me too, because I'm far from perfect and I need to practice these things. So as I'm telling you, I'm reminding myself, and I know I have to work on this stuff, but helping you helps me too. So stress and anxiety are two things that I can heavily identify with. I carry a lot of both of those things with me, and I'll try and give my definition, my best definition of the difference between nervousness and anxiety and stress. And to start off with, I hope that maybe this will it'll help you let a sigh out, breathe a heavy sigh of relief, because I listen to a lot of people, and the main person that I, was taught by from afar, I met him 3 or 4 times, was Wayne Dyer. And Wayne Dyer used to say, there is no stress in the world. There's only people thinking stressful thoughts. So in other words, if I said to you, go out into the world and go get me a cup of stress and bring it back to me, you couldn't do that. There are only people thinking stressful thoughts, that we're thinking stressful thoughts. So when I heard him say that, and I've heard him say that, 1,000 times in all the tapes and videos and things I've listened to, I said, I can accept that. So how do I change my stressful thoughts? That's the crux of the issue. That's the problem, is there's no stress. We're thinking stressful thoughts that make us stressful. So how do we not think those thoughts? I can't exactly, of course, I can't tell you the chemical mechanism or the exact point of how to switch a thought. But a couple of things come to mind. Number one is this. Anthony Robbins talks a lot about move a muscle, change a thought. So movement, getting up and moving, can cause you to change a thought. So that's one. 2, what are you putting into your brain, mind, body? Because what you're putting in is what's coming out. We're blood, water, chemicals, running through our skin, bones, organs. A computer. What you put into the computer is what's going to come out of the computer. So what are you putting into your body? What kind of thoughts are you putting into your body? What are you reading? What are you listening to? Who are you listening to? Who are you hanging around? So all of those things go in. You process them. Could be good thoughts. Could be, I don't want to label thoughts as bad, stressful thoughts. And then that comes out as stress. And then you take out your stress on other people, or you take it out on yourself, which is the worst thing, because stress, and maybe this will lead me into anxiety, a lot of people believe, and I'm one of them, that a lot of our physical ailments, I'm not going to name all the diseases and disabilities that have, are caused by thoughts. And the first one that comes to mind, and the easiest that everyone understands, is I gave myself an ulcer. How did you give yourself an ulcer? By thoughts and that you were thinking in, and stress creates acid in your body. So it's all of this stuff is tied in together. So, thoughts, move a muscle, change a thought. What are you putting into your body? What are you putting into your mind? What are you reading? What are you listening to? Who are you hanging out with? What are you watching on TV? All of those things can create stressful thoughts. What you put in comes out. Wayne Dyer also has a book and a video series called Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. So, and he talks a lot about just changing your thoughts, because what you're thinking, again, that's going to create a lot of stress. Another way that I talk to kids a lot about this, especially kids, but all of us, should take this, is tell on yourself. Tell on yourself. Now, I'm so fortunate. I think everybody should be in therapy. I'm not right now. I went to therapy for a long period of time, many years ago. But I have a huge network of men and women that I can speak to, that I can say anything to. I can tell them anything. These are people that if I were in jail, I could call them and they'd come get me, no matter where I was. Like, those are your true friends, right? That's one of the markers of who your true friends are, who you can call when you're in jail or when you have to hide a body. That's a terrible thing to say, but that's one of, who would you call if you had a body that you had to hide? I hope none of you watching this have been in that situation. I have not. So, tell on yourself means tell someone that you trust that you're struggling with these things. To me, you're shaming yourself and all of those, and I'll talk about that possibly in another video, and those stressful thoughts, all of that stuff internalized. That's why we see a tremendous amount of suicide in schools. And that's why we see a tremendous amount of suicide with vets and adults. With veterans, adults, policemen, suicide, and police officers, suicide is very high. So all of those things are thoughts. And think about it. Think about a policeman for a minute, right? Under all that stress and what they see on a daily basis, and they may not be, I don't know, but they may not be talking to anybody, right? I mean, I can't imagine. And kids are in the same situation. I can't imagine that there's enough sociologists, psychologists, or psychiatrists assigned to the police department, just like schools are short on social workers and counselors and psychologists and psychiatrists, to get kids mental help. Policemen could be in that same situation, but we're not immune to it. No one's immune to those to putting that stress on themselves. So telling on yourself is when you tell someone something about yourself, or you share something with someone, you cut the problem in half. I learned that in recovery, and you share with someone you trust. Obviously, you share someone you trust. So telling on yourself should relieve some of the stressful thoughts, because a lot of times, most of the time, people are going to say to you, "You know what? Me too. I know how you feel. I felt the same way." Rarely do your friends look at you and say, "That's weird. You know what? I thought that too. I felt this. I felt the same. I've had those same thoughts." So that makes you feel better. You become what you think about all day long. Wayne Dyer says that all day long. He was to say that all day long. You become what you think about all day long. Again, those are the thoughts that you put into your body. You don't attract what you want. You attract who and what you are. Bottom line. You become what you think about all day long. Other things I talk to kids about with stress and anxiety, or talk about it, obviously. Breathe. Breathing is so important. Deep breaths, 10 deep breaths, simple way. It doesn't work for, it should work, but, for heavy anxiety and heavy stress and heavy angst and nervousness, you might need to be in professional therapy, but little things that the average person could do. Breathing is important. I always ask kids how much water they drink. Being hydrated for me, and I've talked about this in other videos, I'm not a big nutrition person. I know, I've read The Brain Maker and listen to things on gut health and how important it is what we put into our body. I should be a little bit healthier. But water is the one thing that's just non-negotiable for me. I need to drink a lot of water. And I know when I'm dehydrated that I am more stressed and I have more anxiety. When my body is balanced, right, with enough, that I'm hydrated with enough water, that I feel a lot better about myself. So most people, I can just go out on a limb and say this, are dehydrated. They're probably not drinking enough water. So it's so important. And the last thing that I'll talk about is meditation, because meditation is so important. And if you're going to share this with your kids, meditation can be a minute. It can be 20 seconds. It can be, 3 times, 20 seconds a day, just pausing and, reflecting on something, contemplating something. That contemplation is actually the highest form of medication, the deepest form of meditation, not medication. So meditation is important, and remember this about meditation, and I share this all the time. Meditation is not for the time that you spend meditating. Is that peaceful? Absolutely. Is it wonderful? Absolutely. But meditation is for the times when someone's tailgating you on the road, or you're under pressure, or your kids are screaming, or your teacher's giving you a hard time, or any number of things that cause stress and change your thoughts to something negative that cause stress and anxiety. Meditation is for when those things happen. I meditated 3 weeks ago, and now I'm in this situation, and because I've calmed myself and learned how to calm myself, I'm going to get through this situation okay. So meditation is so important. And to talk a little bit about anxiety, in no way, shape, or form are anxiety and nervousness the same. Nervousness is you're nervous, you're about to take the stage, you've got to give a presentation, you're nervous about asking someone out on a date, or, you're nervous about how you're going to get a job interview, all those things. Anxiety is debilitating. Anxiety, for me, is debilitating. It's angst. It's a feeling in the pit of your stomach. Anxiety can actually borders on depression. So I know the difference between, I know when I'm just nervous, because that's something nervousness is like energy. I can control that. Anxiety is hard to control. But if I do some of these things I talked about, anxiety, stress and anxiety, again, lumping them together, can be lessened tremendously. So I know how debilitating anxiety can be. And all of those things that I talked about earlier, talking to people, identifying with people, drinking water, what are you listening to, what are you putting in your body, what are you putting in your mind, can lessen anxiety. The most important, I think, of all of those I'm such a huge advocate of talk therapy. So stress and anxiety, I know those things are difficult. If you want to write in the comments anything you'd like to share about things that help you through stress and anxiety so that other people can see those things. I could go on and on with these videos. I wanted to make them 6 to 8 minutes long, and we're going on 12 minutes now. So I hope you all got something out of this. Please put comments please post some things in the comments section, and I hope you like my new things. I'm playing around with some new stuff because I'm going to be doing some virtual assemblies come this fall. So I hope you like my new background and the overlays that I've put in there. Hope you're all well. Talk to someone about your stress and anxiety. Remember, what you're putting into your mind and your body is what's coming out. So if you're putting in stressful thoughts, that's what's coming out. There's no stress in the world. There's only people thinking stressful thoughts. Have a great day, everybody. Be well.